PMDG have released their first trailer for the Boeing 737 Next Generation for Microsoft Flight Sim. It is awesome. If you want to watch it without my annoying voice running through it giving a commentary, I put a link down in the description. I recommend you go watch it. In today's video, I'll be running through what I see. I have made notes, and then I'll be linking it to the beta forum post we've got on their forum. Very big news. First thing I'm going to do is show you the trailer and read my notes, so go off my notes. Then we're going to go on to the development update post and link it all together. It is big news, and I do recommend you go watch it on the PMDG YouTube channel right now if you haven't, and then come back here later and we can talk about it together. First, let's head over to YouTube. So here we are, this is what we're greeted with. The following preview was created using in-development software, so everything you see could change basically, but everything you do see is pretty awesome, and it's all in Microsoft Flight Simulator. Let's get right into it. So this is actually 4K, I'm not too sure if we're running 4K, we should be. Here we go, so we're at Rio's second airport, I believe. This isn't the main international one, but it's the second busiest one in Rio. This is the Boeing 737-700, not the 800, which is the one most of you will be familiar with. The 700, which I believe is used by Southwest. It looks awesome. Now what sticks out here is the custom pushback vehicle, I believe. There is of course custom ground service vehicles, as you'll see in this video. I've watched it meticulously about 6 times. And it's about 5 minutes long. Sadly we don't get any sounds in this video, just music. I'm sure they're still working on it. Now right here we've got the engine startup, as you can see, and you get a good look at some of the rivets on the side of the fuselage and indeed on the wing. It's clear some of it still needs a bit of a upgrade in terms of textures, but it's still looking pretty good. We're in the cockpit for the first time. This is the flap indicator going up to 1 set of flaps. You can see textures look pretty good, systems are working. The only thing I would say is that if you look onto the ECAS display, you can see that it's a bit pixelated here, but that just might be the camera. Okay, we got flaps and slats coming down by the looks of things, yep. Here's the aircraft taxiing onto the runway. You can see we've got taxi lights and haven't got landing lights on yet. They're turned on in a minute. You'll see them. Awesome weathering effects on the back of the wings. There we go. You can see it now. You can see them. Awesome landing lights. Okay. Yep, this is the bit that really stuck out to me. Fantastic vibrations on the back of here. Looking really good. On the tail assembly. Heads-up display working. And there comes the aircraft coming up into over Rio. Gear up about now. There we go. Awesome animation, fantastic, really well done. And the aircraft banks off into the sky. So that's a good introduction. We now move over to the freighter version. You can see we've got custom ground service vehicles loading in cargo, or in this case taking cargo off. You'll see it in a minute. Here it is. So these are modules basically that you'll be able to take off and pretend you're loading up a plane or unloading a plane. And the cargo door closes. Looks really good. Right, now this is an important bit. What you're going to see now is what we call optional items. So basically allowing you to customise your aircraft. This is stuff to do with the engine right now. I believe most of this is able to be handled in the system anyway. And then this is a bit I love. MCP panel, mode control panel, autopilot panel, most of you know it as. You can swap it between Honeywell or Collins. Now I actually studied Boeing 737s for a college project for about a year. And I learned a lot about the MCP, funnily enough. Looking at older 737s, you'd see that the fire control switches were actually on the MCP. That was basically so in the event of a fire in the engine, smoke in the cockpit, etc. A pilot would know straight away that the fire switch was up there. They then moved it back behind the throttles, I believe, and then replaced it with an autopilot panel. So there's a bit of aviation trivia for you. But nowadays you'll see that fire switches have actually made their way back to that area, the kind of centre of the cockpit, near where the MCP is. Nowadays, that's just because it's more accessible, but a bit unrelated there. But nonetheless, who doesn't love a bit of trivia? And you can see you can swap between Honeywell and Collins. Not too much difference, but there. Now that's a bit I like as well. switching between analog and glass backup instruments. I'm more of a fan of analog, I think it looks nicer, but of course digital instruments are a bit more usable, easier to see. Very customizable, that's awesome. And why is that significant, you may ask? Well, you're thinking you're buying a base aircraft, but then you're also able to make it your aircraft. Just look here, you can get rid of the headrests, stuff like that, where most developers wouldn't even go near, but PMDG are very much so doing it. That's important because it's about making it your aircraft, not just an aircraft. That's quite poetic, but nonetheless it's pretty cool. Even to the yoke checklist, I mean it's stuff most people wouldn't even think about. And of course that heads-up display. Awesome. It's just stuff like that where most developers wouldn't even go near, and PMDG are doing it. It's really, really promising. 700 on the front there for the 737-700. A look at some more custom ground vehicles. You can see the ramp there. The catering track is not custom, but you know. Upper overhead panel moving down to the lower overhead panel. Look at the lights, they look fantastic. It's very good. Nice effects as well in terms of making it look pretty used but not overly worn. Of course the 737-700, quite an old aircraft now, much like the 800. They're getting on, so it does look good to see it like that. There comes the slats. And the aircraft taking off. Looks fantastic, really, really nice, beautiful. You're only seeing the 737-700 here, so you've got to think there's a whole family behind this. It's very good. Now here you can see circuit breakers popping, of course included. A point of major realism for so many people. It's kind of where the study level line is normally put. Has it got circuit breakers that work? Yes. Well, TFDI designs with their MD11 actually make you pay $15 extra for circuit breakers, which is a weird business model, but of course PMDG are including it here. Notice the rainwater as well running down the glass, looking very good. And we are landing runway 20 left, I believe. We've gone away now. Yeah, it looks very good. Over Rio, beautiful. Bit of texturing work needed on the wing there, clearly. A dream 40 years in the making. Well, you got to think Microsoft Flight Sim came out in the 80s. PMDG was about in the 90s, late 1997, I believe. So it's been really awesome to see it develop, and I'm sure if you went back to 1982 or whenever the first Microsoft Flight Sim came up and showed them this, albeit on some sort of VHS tape, they'd probably think you were some sort of witch doctor. Of course I'm joking, but it is really awesome how far it's progressed on. It is quite impressive, very impressive in fact. Congratulations to Robert and all the team at PMDG. And hey look, Mental Pilot gets a bit of a shout out at the end of the video. Nonetheless, let's move over to the forum. I know it's a bit of a different video, just me talking to the camera, but I thought this kind of project deserved it. So this is the development update. We don't get too much here because of course the video said 1,000 photos or showed 1,000 photos realistically. So we're not getting any screenshots. But what we do get is a bit of an update on the beta. How's it going? Well, basically plenty of bugs have been identified. To be exact, 114 new bug reports have been issued, with 78 of them being resolved, meaning they've got 36 more to go. To me that's very impressive, and as the project develops and beta results in more people finding bugs, hopefully, the number of bugs found will decrease, the number of bugs fixed will increase, hopefully resulting in a very stable project by the end of it, by the ready for public release. It is very exciting. It's also very good to go through some of the comments here on the PMDG forum. You just get a good feel for people's reaction to it. This guy is clearly very excited. I'm very excited as well, frankly, who wouldn't be? Hopefully it'll be pretty affordable. We have spoken about PMDG's pricing strategy, about having a base product and then being able to add bits on, or having the base 737-700 I believe, or 800, and hopefully that means this project should be pretty affordable compared to some of their previous projects. Also they talk about here Asobo making the development system acceptable for PMDG. They promised PMDG in October that they'll have what they need by mid-2022, and Robert says hopefully this will resolve all the issues they're experiencing. But it seems to be pretty good at the moment. You know, there's clearly bits to still be worked on, but it's nonetheless very exciting. There we have it, guys. I hope you've enjoyed the video. I do recommend you go watch the video by PMDG in the description. It is very, very exciting, and probably better than hearing my annoying voice. Nonetheless, for me today, that is all. I'll see you around. Have a good one, and thank you to my first class channel members. They're going to shout out on the screen now. I'll see you around. Bye-bye.